folks, I have a bit of a story to tell you today about this vintage sewing machine. My husband and I went on a trip to the Outer Banks for our anniversary in the summer, and it was kind of rainy while we were there, so we visited some thrift shops. That seems like a weird thing to do on vacation, but we like it, so that's what we do. And one of them had this vintage sewing machine sitting on the floor, and I already have one vintage sewing machine that's a family heirloom. That was my mom's. When she was 13 she got it, so that's special to me. If you know anything about these, you know they are very heavy, and as an army wife I really try not to buy anything very heavy because we move so much, and I just feel like the army life has sort of made me resistant to collecting superfluous possessions of any kind. But before I knew it, my husband had already asked how much this was. The lady said $10, and he had already bought it. So it's kind of cool, and it's not something I would have bought even though it was only $10, but the fact that he bought it without even telling me makes it kind of special for me. So I'm gonna today see if I can get this thing working. It's been sitting in the living room for months, and I haven't yet tried to see if it even works. So that's what I'm gonna do today. We'll see. Let me show it to you first. It has like this purple chrome finish. It says Sears Kenmore on the front, and it has the manual. Sears Kenmore Model 50 is what it says. So let me turn the camera around and let's see what happens. Okay, I just did a bunch of stuff on here and then realized I wasn't filming that whole time. So what I have done so far is I opened the bottom up and the manual was inside. Look how cute this is. Model 50, Sears Kenmore. I think I need to vacuum that out in there. There's some fuzz. Then I used my camera cleaning kit to sort of spray my cloth and wipe all the dust and grime off. Some of it is a little bit of rust, but most of it I think will just come off with a good scrub. I'm hesitant to get sandpaper on there on the rust because I don't want to get dust inside the machine, obviously. Okay, so then this little tray was over here. So cute. The box says Fran on it. And so these were Fran's little sewing tools, some little thread snips. There's 3 extra light bulbs. I don't know if any of them are still working at this point, but we'll see. Here's a extra foot. That looks like a narrow hem foot. Those are hard to use. An extra screw. There's a bunch of buttons. Thankfully there are some bobbins. I'll need those. Little tiny seam ripper. Ooh, there's some razor blades in there. That's not good. Okay, then there was also a spool of thread on here, which I immediately took off because you never want to use old thread. It becomes brittle. Even the kind on the wooden, those cool wooden vintage spools, you don't want to use those. Keep them for decor if you want. But this is very cool because it says Mount Holly, North Carolina, and that is the next town over from where I live. And our whole county was built on the textile industry. So there's mills, and Spindle City is one of the nicknames of my city. So that's kind of neat. I think I'll keep that just for nostalgia's sake. But I got out some modern thread to try. Okay, then I opened this up. I used my little lint brush to get all the lint out. And then I unscrewed my throat plate. Always unscrew your throat plate when you're trying to clean out your machine, because I don't think Fran did that very often because there was a ton of lint under there. And you can't really reach it from the side. It needed to come off. So use your little screwdriver. This is neat. It matches the machine and it says Kenmore on it. But this little guy is really handy for that. I'll try to link to one of those. So I took my throat plate off. I cleaned out under there. Ooh, look, there's some grime on there too. Some people might recommend compressed air in your sewing machine, but most of the experts say never to do that because you'll just blow the lint and debris further in. That's not what you want. Okay, let me put this back together. Got my little screws. Most of it seems in pretty good shape so far. I can tell it needs a new belt. So I'm kind of hoping I can still order one. We'll see if I can get it working today anyway, and then I'll order a new belt. If you're wondering if you really can use these old machines for your main sewing machine, the answer is yes. I sewed on that yellow Brother sewing machine for several years actually as a teenager, and then it was my backup machine for a long time. It has some issues so that I need to resolve. It also needs a new belt. It no longer winds bobbins, but I wonder if I can, I don't know, take a crash course on YouTube and sewing machine repair and get it working better again, because that machine is pretty special to me. Okay, I'm just trying to screw these in. It can be a little bit fussy. Okay. Thankfully, the bobbin case was there. I'm not going to use that old thread. The next very important thing is to oil the machine. We'll see if this light bulb works in a minute. But you always want to place oil wherever there are moving parts. My dad taught me that. He's a machine person, so he knows. So sewing machines have this up and down tube looking part. So that's where you want to put a spot of oil, sort of on the top, and then just use your hand wheel to turn it several times. My needle is moving back and forth, so I must be set to a zigzag stitch. Not sure how to get it off there, so I'll have to look at the manual. And then if I look inside, I can see another couple of moving parts right here. So a spot of oil on those two. Okay. Let's see here. So far, so good. Let me close that up. Let me give myself a new needle. Ooh, that screw is too tight. Let me get some pliers. Got it. Okay, when you take the needle out, notice which way the flat side of your needle goes. In this case, the flat side goes to the right. A lot of old machines are like that. Most modern machines, the flat side goes to the back. This one goes to the right. My other vintage machine is the same way. Okay, I'm just gonna put this universal size 90 in there. Put it all the way up there. Okay, I have some thread. Let me wind the bobbin. Oh, let me plug it in first. See if that light bulb works. Do I have an on button? Oh, looky there. There's my on button. It does work. I can't believe that. This looks very similar to how my other machine winds a bobbin. Let me pick the least rusty one. That goes there. This goes, maybe I need the instructions. Wow, these are in pristine condition. So cute too. I want to blow up these graphics, use them as art. There we go. I won't wind the whole thing. Oh, I'm going to use Fran's thread snips. I think a good name for this machine would be Fran, don't you think? Sewing machines all thread pretty much the same. Down here. Gotta put it by hand through here. Through the next loop and the next loop. And then through the needle. Oops, tighten that back up. My eyes are old. Okay. Under the presser foot. Okay, so this is my back stitch. This is forward and this is backward. And bobbin thread up. Should I just put some fabric under there, see what happens? Let me get a scrap. All right, I'm a little nervous. Here we go. Oh my. It's definitely zigzagging. But wow. It's a nice zigzag. Some tension problems on the bottom. I think it must be set at a buttonhole. Oh. Aha. I think I got it figured out. There it goes. I'm confused. Success! Wow, this is a very interesting, wow, look at the stitch quality. Oops, those are hemostacks. That's beautiful. Where's my tension? This one? Let's check. Let's raise the stitch length. Wow. I can tell it's like in the fresh oil. Wow, the stitch quality is seriously beautiful. That's really nice. I don't know if I will use her or just admire her. I'll probably try to keep cleaning up the rusty parts, and I just think she's so beautiful. So that's all I have. Let me see if I can get my face in here. If you have thoughts about vintage sewing machines, let me know. Do you have one? Do you use one? I know some sewists use a treadle machine still. My mom lived overseas for a while, and that's what she used when she was sewing for, I think, charity events or something. She'll have to answer those questions for me. But I just don't think they make them like this anymore. You can't probably get a modern machine to last 10 years, much less, I don't know, 70. This machine's probably 70 years old. So I just think she's so pretty. Me and Fran. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know, subscribe, leave me a comment about your experience with vintage sewing machines, and I'll see you soon. Bye.